News from the other side of the world, from the country that gave us shrimp frying rice. Or is it shrimp fried rice? I don't know, I'm uncultured as fuck. Now, China recently released a statement stating that the United States military attempted to goat them into invading that island right there. The one that we didn't recognize for the longest time, but we do now. And they're also one of our longest allies, the Republic of China. Now, as most people will tell you, that is going to be a crock of phooey because the United States doesn't want to fight, but anybody that understands the global situation that is at hand can actually give you a better picture of this. I'm going to attempt to. So we return to the good old US of A, while my face floats in the land of, hey there, guy, eh? So once upon a time, this little thing called the Berlin Wall fell, and at that point, the United States and all of its allies viewed the entire world as, well, I own this shit, and there's nobody that can touch my bread baskets. Or my copious hentai collection that my lovely little Japanese folks have created. But then suddenly there was a boom and a smash, and everybody looked over, and it was... So all I had to do was just have some capitalistic shit in this economy, and now I have copious amounts of money, and all of you are going to give me the ability to just build shit, and you're going to buy it? I should so steal everyone's fucking technology. Thus began the little journey China took on, which was G-snatching every single fucking piece of tech that the United States and its NATO allies had. Well, have. And this is mainly driven by China's one ultimate goal, which is to, well, run the fucking show. It's, they're in their philosophy, China's philosophy, they are the rulers of all of Earth. They are, to them, the first civilization to ever exist, the longest to fucking make a go at it, and have, I mean, legitimately given most of our species our technology that just got built off of over time. I mean, look at gunpowder. Where do you think that came from? These crazy motherfuckers making awesome fireworks, and then fucking ended up over in the West, and we were like, I'm gonna make a fucking cannon out of that bitch. Now, this is the main reason why China basically looked at all of their Russian military equipment and went, this is dog shit. This shit doesn't work. It's not what is adequate enough for my goals. So then they did shit like this. This is the Type 99, which, just upon one look at it, looks like a Leopard, an Abrams, and a T-75 all had a wild night and nutted into a petri dish, and this is what you got out of it. It's not actually a bad tank, and what everybody wants to say, always remember the first rule of the art of war. Do not underestimate your opponent. That's the quickest way to fuck around and find out. It's not a bad tank. But over a period of time, China decided to get a little bit more ballsy and then started creating stealth fighters, which personally I don't think this thing is all that it's cracked up to be. But again, first rule of war, do not underestimate your opponent and expect the unexpected. Maybe this thing really can do cartwheels and fucking flip itself across the fucking air and land it and stick it for a 10 out of 10 in a gymnastics fucking gym. Now we come to the fact that China also is no dummy when it comes to actually projecting foreign power, because they looked directly at the United States and went, you're onto something, buddy. I'm gonna make the world's biggest fucking navy that anybody has ever fucking seen. And as of right now, China has that navy. Are their capabilities up to par with the United States? We have yet to see this. China's military is so modernized, we don't exactly know what they're really capable of. I mean, this is the same group of people that were not issuing plate carrier systems to their GI, their general issued fucking infantrymen just upwards of a decade ago, and now have opted for it, and prior they didn't want to have it because of machoism. They were like, only, bitch-made motherfuckers wear plate carriers. We're all about that ninja speed, and then they watched Buddy fucking Han get hit by a 50 cal, and they were like, damn, plates wouldn't have made a difference, but at least he wouldn't have been scattered, so, antimatter, or, is it matterly? Antimatterly? I don't know, I just learned this fucking term. We stole it from the United States just a few weeks ago. So now that we all understand that China itself, and I haven't even talked about their fucking missile capabilities, which that entire fucking Pacific region, the U.S. Navy is going to have a fun fucking time. It's going to be like a mosquito swarm. They're just going to be swatting the fuck away at shit. it's not going to be a good time for the U.S. Navy. I mean, anybody in their right mind that understands war knows it's not going to be a cakewalk, and it's not going to be pretty. With that being stated, why would the United States attempt to goat China into this position? Simply because China is advancing so rapidly that in the next 30 years, with the way the U.S. is declining, they probably couldn't actually square up anymore. And the only reason why now is a good time is China's kind of weak. Simply because of population. China lacks the population that the United States and the West overall has. Now, everybody's heard of the one-child birth policy that China's had in place since like 1976 or 79-ish. I'm not exact on the date. But it has severely hurt the Chinese population over the last 30 to 40 years because there's this thing about humans called we're not immortal, we still die. And if you don't have a population to continuously keep growing, you can't replace it. Now, this isn't just a symptom of the East. The West, like the United States, also suffers from this same issue, but solves that by simply importing manpower. They literally just go, hey, buddy, you want to come fucking live here? Here's a bunch of free shit. And people show up and get sent to a fucking battlefield at this point, which is what's more than likely going to happen. Welcome to the United States, buddy. The trench is over there. Next to the population of China coming into a detrimental situation to where, compared to the United States can field like 150 million people if it really fucking came down to it. China can hit those numbers, but it's not like some backwoods boys like we're used to, where you're gonna get some Cletus dude out of like West Appalachia that will pull a raccoon out of his ass and sick it on whatever buddy is in front of him in a fucking close quarters combat situation in a trench. I don't want to deal with no butthole raccoon that just got unleashed on me. I'm just saying. Now, I already hear a bunch of you twiddling your thumbs away in the comments going, nukes this, nukes that, nukes this. China and the United States are one of the two countries on planet Earth that basically have the nuclear doctrine of, I will not nuke unless nuked. So you're legitimately looking at the first ever solid brawl that will not lead to nukes unless the other one does it first. And both of them have the doctrine of no nuking unless nuked. So this could get really fucking ugly really fucking fast. Now, again, the reason why the United States could be goading them into this situation is 1, manpower, 2, technological advancement, 3, resource kind of there. Do not have the production means, which is absolutely no secret. The United States completely lacks the production capability to get into a straight up brawl with somebody right now. Like even Russia, I mean, Russia's producing like what, 30,000 shells, artillery shells a day. The United States can't even hit, I think up to 10 on a good day. It's kind of bad. I mean, that's Russia. Russia's some backwater ass nation at this point. Next to that, if China were to take the initiative, they really could put the United States on its back foot for about maybe a year or two. And by accomplishing that, they would have to invade first. Like, that's the only way to pull this shit off. Otherwise, if they don't get blood in the water on the first lick, it's not going to go well. And we saw the Japanese attempt this, and, well, Japan's not China. The manpower's not there. And China still kind of has it, and has the capabilities with that Navy to do this. Now, obviously, you're listening to an American right now that has no correlation to the DoD and is talking about shit like this. So, could you imagine the big wigs and the big brains that are actually in the DoD? They're already prepared for this shit. They've been prepared for this shit, which is why I can see the United States willing to walk up and just, come on, do it. Fucking do it. I want you to do it. If you're not going to do it, I'm going to find a way to get you to do it. Simply because of logic. Comment down below what you think. And, I'm trying out these longer videos now. Why not? What the fuck do I have to lose?